Hi again. Bailey for Ramen News is back, and welcome to the channel if you're new here. Today's video I'm going to be talking about is Romans 13, 1 through 2. Before I begin, please criticize me on how I could do better on these videos. Tell me about your day if you want, and ask if you want prayer in the comments. But that being said, I can get into the topic now. Okay, Romans 13, 1 through 2. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. End quote. What this verse means is that we need to respect to anybody with a high position who has the job to order people, no matter who they are. They wouldn't be in the position right now if it weren't for God, meaning He's the reason they're up there in the first place. Yes, our leaders aren't perfect and can make multiple errors in decisions, and we don't have to agree with their decisions, but it doesn't mean we have to say distasteful things about them or cross our fingers that something bad will happen to them. Despite their character and wrong choices, we should still address them as who they are and what they represent, and pray for them that they'll make the right decisions and stop living worldly for themselves and the people. Again, like what these verses say, God makes sure that He's the one who truly decides who gets to end up in the chair of power, which means it truly doesn't matter who will get the most votes or favoritism, because ultimately it ends with God's vote. Now, because God was the one who chose the person in that high position, He expects us to listen to the appointed leader and treat them with the utmost respect. Think about it. It could have been anyone else who could have been so much worse that ends up making the decisions, and they would have truly destroyed the land they're covering compared to who we have now. Yes, a lot of times it seems like we have received the bottom of the barrel, but there's always a great evil behind the evil we see right now, and God prevented that great evil. Again, yes, tons of current leaders are anti-biblical with what they do, and if their choices are truly that distasteful to God, like for example, they want us to worship them, or something or someone else, we need to decline no matter the consequences, but anything else we should obey, even if it's utterly ridiculous. As long as it's doable, we should do it. I want to mention the story of I'm sorry, forgive me if I mispronounce these names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the Bible in the book of Daniel, especially in Daniel 3. Their king Nebuchadnezzar wanted them to worship a golden image, but the three refused to do so. While they were still addressing King Nebuchadnezzar as Majesty, they kept doing this while being threatened to die. Even when they were being threatened to be thrown to his furnace, but they still, treated him with respect. And they kept their faith though. They still declined because God is still the ultimate authority. So they still kept their faith with God, but they still treated him with respect. It's amazing. We should be like them. It'll be hard, but we should still be like them. Um, Remember that God's still ultimately the authority over everything and everyone. He won't allow something that isn't part of His approval to go into motion. He's in control altogether. But in conclusion, pray for our managers, supervisors, leaders, presidents, anybody in a higher position than us, instead of wishing them to get beaten, humiliated, assassinated, etc. We need to pray that they'll make the best moral, most godly performances possible. This is our job instead of praying for evil on them. But that is it for this video. Tell me what you think, like and subscribe if you want, and finally ask questions if you have any, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. That being said, I'll prayerfully see y'all beautiful people next weekend. Goodbye, and take care.